The East Roast Podcast.
Are you listening?
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the podcast. This is the East Roast Podcast. And as we had been telling you for about 2 months now, we have a great guest. Man from Ink Master, you know who it is. Christian Buckingham. What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure. My man, thank you. Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to talk to you about, I know we had mentioned it on the podcast a couple of times. We wanted people to come and support you. Was that you just opened up the Lucky Gypsy Tattoo, and that's in Midlothian, Virginia.
Yeah, it's right outside of Richmond, a little town called Midlothian. It's just right outside there. It's kind of a suburb of Richmond, and absolutely love it.
Yeah, yeah. So I know you guys, you just had your grand opening in October, right?
Yep, Halloween.
Halloween, right? And what was now you like all the proceeds went to
Yeah, I went to the Ask Foundation, which is basically it supports families who are suffering through the hardships of having, going through childhood cancer. It's a lot of kids and their families and stuff. And I really, really like that foundation because the money goes directly to help the families with bills, hospital, stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I think just a lot of charities, that money gets dispersed so much, but this goes directly into families. And I kind of like that more direct method.
Now, how did you find that foundation? Was it one you were connected to, or was it one that you just somehow it spoke to you?
My shop manager, actually, his wife works for a company who already works with them, and so we were just super happy to kind of jump on board and be a part of it. And we're going to make an annual event.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is overwhelming. I like being in Philly.
I love Philly. It's crazy. This is like the Woodstock of tattooing, you know what I mean? Like, this is where everybody goes. It's a super great show. And
for me, it's a bit... me and Tony, as we were waiting for you to conduct the podcast, we walked around and we asked a bunch of people from Ink Masters some questions. And I'm a fan of body art,
right?
But I haven't had that one tattoo yet because I know so many friends that their first tattoo they tend to regret. I'm curious, what's your advice to me with that fear of that first tattoo?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's legit. A lot of people get a bad first tattoo, but that's because they go about it wrong. I always tell people, I'm like, don't pick the tattoo, pick the artist. Find an artist whose work you like, and then shut the fuck up and listen to whatever they say. The biggest thing, and I tell young artists, too, that the biggest trick to doing good tattoos is really eliminate the client as much as possible, because most people don't know the industry, they don't know the art, they just like tattoos, and they tend to end up, getting some really generic Pinterest thing or something that they don't know is really common, and they get in the way too much.
Well, how do you go about how do you go about finding the right artist? Do you think with the internet today?
Yeah, you just got to look at pictures. Look through. Referrals are great because you want to hear other people's, but the truth is, most people don't know a good tattoo from their ass, so they'll recommend some guy who sucks, and everybody. I mean, it's not like you can't find terrible tattooers out there that have a huge fan base because people just don't know. Right. So use your own eyes. Look through portfolios, and if you see tattoos that are iffy in there, turn around and walk away. There are too many phenomenal tattooers out there nowadays. You should be able to look through a pretty extensive portfolio and like everything you see. And nowadays, really, the good artists, I'll say this to everybody, are generally pretty booked. They're not cheap, and and they tend to specialize. So if you're if you're bargain shopping, that's a mistake. Be prepared to pay good money for good work. Find somebody who specializes in exactly what you want. Like I do, mostly black and gray. Don't come to me for color new school. It's just a bonehead move.
No doubt.
One of the things that I've seen so many of your portraits, and they're amazing. I mean, is that is that the thing that you like to do the most, or your portrait?
No, I kind of just got known for that, from Ink Master, because the first season I went
because you were so good at it.
Well, I kind of pulled this little strategy move that helped, but it backfired too, because when I first found out I was going on the show, I started strategizing before I ever got there, and I took all of my color work off my social media because I thought, well, then the other artists will just think I'm like a one-trick pony, and they'll underestimate me in other stuff. I came up on traditional. I love doing color work, but because of the show, it kind of made it even worse. Where everybody they all just think I'm like the black and gray guy, which I love doing it, but I like doing everything.
Yeah.
Is there one more question, if you don't mind, Tony? I know Tony's a super fan. My question is, in 2020, so it's an interesting time in the country, in the world right now.
Yeah.
If someone is there a tattoo that you're opposed to doing if someone came to you?
Lots of shit.
You're picky about
Lots
your work?
of shit.
Oh, okay.
I turn tattoos down all the time. I don't do anything racist. I don't do anything that I find morally, goes against my beliefs. You know what I mean? And I'm a pretty open guy, but you get people come in and want some really weird shit sometimes. If I don't feel comfortable with it, I'm not doing it. I mean, I have a couple of tattoos that I refuse to do that a lot of people are kind of like, really? Like, I won't do Punisher skulls on cops. I won't do it.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's super inappropriate. And I've told some of them, I'm like, listen, why are you getting like a symbol, of some dude who is completely lawless outside the system and he's a vigilante who kills people? I'm like, that's a bad look in this environment. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'll do a cool cop tattoo for you, but I'm not doing that one. And,
Remember growing up, the Tasmanian Devil was the one that everybody would say, right?
Yeah. Hey,
it's evolved now. Now there's like a lot of things.
It's every 2 years, though. It is. It's every 2 years. We all go through this.
Did you ever do the Buddha Italy?
The what?
The Buddha of Italy. I'm Italian.
Oh.
Would you do the Buddha Italy?
Yeah, sure. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. You guys make good food. Word of advice for everybody out there. They're going to get so mad at me, but stop doing fucking clocks, everybody.
Yeah.
No more pocket watches, no more clocks, no more of that. Nobody cares what time your freaking kid was born. Nobody cares. And it's like every third tattoo that comes through now. It's so rude to say, but it's true. It's like, that's the thing, is like we go through that all the time. Tasmanian Devil, but then it evolved, right? And it was sugar skulls. And then it was, it was Day of the Dead girls, and now it's pocket watches.
So there's work that annoys you, but
you'll
do
man.
the job.
Hey, man, I got to pay my bills, sure.
Like you mentioned.
Yeah.
I've seen, when you have someone that says, I trust you, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that like the best
Yes.
opportunity to show what you have to give? And you can give someone what they're going to love in a way that they didn't even realize that,
right.
that they want.
And that's what I'm saying, really you want to find the artist, give them a loose idea. I love it when somebody just comes in and says, something real loose, and it can be 3 words, and it says, do your thing. That's when you get the best work. Every artist will tell you that. Wow. The more specific you are, the more you micromanage, the more the artist just isn't going to be into it, too. I mean, we want to do art. So,
Yeah. Now, I had another question about, and this is Ink Master question. We didn't want to do a lot of Ink Master questions because, I followed your work and I know your life, man, and it's way beyond Ink Master. But one of the things that I was impressed by you, and I wasn't sure if it was something that you figured out quickly or if it just took some time to figure out. It seemed like it was pretty quick, is that when you got into competition, it seemed like you were in competition mode, and it took some people a while to realize that they were dealing with a guy that was there to win.
Right.
Is that just in your nature, or was that something you just said, look, it's competition, it's time to turn it on?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm really not very competitive in real life. I try to be more cooperative. I like working with people, but I've never understood why people don't see it like that. It's like, I mean, you should leave all that, camaraderie or that kumbaya bullshit at the door. I went there and I told the producers ahead of time, I was like, to me, this looks like Survivor with tattoos. And so I think, I think they really liked a lot of what we were doing. Like when me and Anthony, made an alliance and stuff. They were like, what the hell? Nobody's ever done that before, And so we did a lot of things, I think, that, were unique. And I mean, I've never won, but I've never not made it to the finale. So,
The show definitely changed. I mean, it's funny the way you just said that. It really, I agree 100%. The show changed after your season.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody saw the season played that way where, I mean, you worked well with everyone, but you know what? You were, you were doing your thing. You knew you were in a competition.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're right. I mean, why would anybody not, if you have an opportunity, it's in front of you. You don't want to carry people. You have to go and blast through yourself, and that's just...
It's kind of fun because I get a lot, like every season I'll have new Ink Master competitors that come on, and they'll actually call me and stuff sometimes, so it's kind of real flattering. They're like, what would you do in this situation? I think I'm like, I don't know. It's like what I'm known for. I'm like the strategy dude, and I like fucking with people anyway on the show. They take it so personal, but it's like, listen, we're here for a reason. Like, just do the job, And I don't take it personal if somebody comes after me or gives me a shitty skull pick. I'm like, fuck you. But I don't really get upset.
It's a game. But at the same time, I mean, there are people that take it to heart, right?
Of course. And you can't help it. I mean, because you're locked up for 2 months. You're you're in this really, really stressful pressure cooker environment, and no matter how much you can disassociate from the whole thing, I mean, there's people that need to see literally like shrinks when they get out of there. It is, I've said many times, I'm like, I think it's the most mentally unhealthy thing I've ever done in my life.
Wow.
Although I love it, but when you go out there, man, like, people see you crying on TV, and I'm like, yeah, you go out there and watch. They're going to break you down. They are good at it, and they do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Wow.
What about family life? You got kids?
My kids are all grown up.
Are they all grown?
Yeah, they're killing it, man.
Yeah.
Are
they going into the industry, or are they?
I got one daughter who's in the industry. She's doing well. I got one daughter who's a geologist.
Really?
Yeah, she works at a gold mine. She's like,
You got a smart kid, huh?
yeah, she works hard. And they're just all doing really well. And then I've got grandkids, and
Oh, your grandfather.
I got 5 grandkids.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, man.
I'm 50. So yeah.
I'm 40. I'll be at 49 this year.
Yeah.
And I have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old.
I'm 33, no kids.
Yeah.
How you doing,
you're alive
How are
now.
you? That's single.
Oh, and I am single again. That's
There
great.
Are you really?
Yeah, it's weird. Like,
We'll party tonight.
I was married for 18 years, and but like my ex and I are like best friends. I talk to her every day, and we get along super great. But yeah, it's weird being single in today's world.
Right?
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah.
it's so different.
It is. And you know what? I mean, you're known now, so it's almost like, do you ever have that moment where you're like, is this girl talking to me because...
Yeah.
That's kind of...
It does happen. I mean,
Yeah.
you can kind of tell if somebody's just like, being a super fan or being weird. I mean, you can kind of, but most of them are honestly really awesome. I remember I thought I was going to hate the fans just, like, because I had seen some that interacted with another guy from the show, which I don't want to throw him under the bus, but his fans were like nerds.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh god, these guys are going to annoy the shit out of me, and that's not the case. I find that they're amazing, and that's like probably my favorite part is coming to a place like this, and you meet all these people, and they're generally so cool, and they're happy to see you.
That's
and,
awesome.
Yeah, they're really, really fun. So,
did you ever think that when you started tattooing that like there'd even be a place where there'd be fans, right? I mean, it's wild.
Dude, I started when it was still biker shops, I mean, I started off like a traditional apprenticeship at an old school biker shop, and we were still knocking out, $35 Cherry Creek Flash tattoos, for any tattooers out there, they know what that means. But, it's all evolved like super fast, and it's crazy because tattooers are like the new rock stars. It's fucking weird.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I get stopped going down the street all the time.
Yeah, but it was never your intention going into it.
You never thought, and I used to be super against it. A lot of us did. We were trying to, keep the industry more old school. But I think as I saw it evolve, I was like, you know what, this isn't a bad thing because the industry's changing. I don't love all of it. None of us do. But the art itself has come leaps and bounds.
And look at the lives you're affecting with charities and everything.
Yeah. I mean, and you're 100% right. And, people are, now I see the industry being so much more positive. Like, it's not just a bunch of, badasses, getting barbed wire, whatever. Now you're seeing people that are helping mastectomy patients, burn victims, covering scars. I do portraits, so I help people. I mean, I do memorials all the time, and there is nothing more powerful than, when you see somebody break down and cry because, they got a portrait of somebody they lost, and it makes them feel better. Like, that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, man, that's cool. One of the things I want to ask you, too, I know that you went through a little bit of a health issue.
Yeah.
What happened? I mean, you had a heart attack?
It's just a heart attack, you know. Yeah.
You know, had that in your family, or
no? I've never really had any issues before, but after separating from my wife, that was obviously stressful, and and I opened a new shop, which I really wasn't planning on doing, so I had to work really hard. I mean, I went like 8 months without a day off, and I was working on 4 hours of sleep, and it turned out that I had an arrhythmia, and they said it was just stress and fatigue related, and it was crazy. I didn't even really know what was happening at first. I was like, it freaked me out, and but it's manageable and all good.
How you doing now, all right?
Yeah, I'm doing. I actually feel really, really good. I just, awesome. It was an eye opener where you're like, you got to make some lifestyle changes, because I'm like a workaholic,
right?
And at some point, you have to say, okay, like clearly, going too far.
Stay away from the cheesesteaks tonight.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not a blockage, man. I can still, I can still have a cheesesteak. You can't keep me away from that in Philly, man.
Well, you left somebody in a chair, man, and
All right.
I don't want to keep
Yeah,
you
really
too long,
appreciate
but
this.
Yeah,
Christian,
absolutely.
man, it was so I'm so thankful to have you, man.
Anytime.
Thank
Yeah.
You are a man of your word too, brother.
Hey, I
Thanks for
appreciate
coming
you
in.
guys. All right, enjoy the show.
Take care, brother.
See ya.
Thank you. That's the East Roast Podcast, live from the Philadelphia Tattoo Convention. I'm Steve Rinaldi.
And I'm Tony. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.
The East Roast Podcast.
Are you listening? Crazy mother. Damn.